So let's keep going. And here's another terminology, another thing you might want to think about that will take some of the pressure off of you. An episode, calling something an episode. This is another episode of my show. Well, this is another episode of the Jim and Mike show. And it's 30 minutes. But when you're starting out with Talking Head Video, you probably only want to do 2 to 4 minutes. But if you think of it in terms of episodes, if you get your audience to think in terms of episodes rather than just video, or this is just another video, but start using the term episode, and we need to start doing this too. Episode implies that there was some before it and that there's going to be some after it. And I think that that's, again, it's changing your mindset, which changes your actions, which your actions are then going to influence the people in your audience very differently. But don't think that you have to do some big, long 30-minute production of, let's say, questionable value, right, Mike? But don't worry. That's another thing, though. Don't worry about how good it is. Just say, so what? And do it. And as you do it, you'll get better and better. Now, luckily, this live show is better than the first one we did, or so far it is. We haven't really, done too much damage, but, it's early yet. The point that I'm trying to make is that 2 to 4 minute episodes, tips, tricks, things like that. Those are the things that you can do, that anybody can do, that require the least amount of technology. Basically, turn on the camera, yak for a couple of minutes, turn it off, get it up on the web, keep moving on down the trail. It's more about the content than it is about the production value, and that's really a big theme with us. But thinking about it in terms of episodes rather than I got to do this big, long thing. Mike?
Most definitely. Getting used to looking at a camera and doing what we're doing right here. A talking head is a television term that I knew from the 70s when I started doing post-audio production for professional video producers. When
you were a grown-up in the 70s, Mike?
Yeah. Yes, I'm a child of the 60s.
Oh, my God. Well, I saw an ad that you'll be interested in.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Do you need one of those yet?
I have several of them.
Cool.
So,
all right.
The clapper. Okay. Yeah. Hey, television. Something that became famous from so much television. But, the only thing that you want to really think about is that there are roadblocks to doing talking head video, because what happened is the technology, the systems, the electronics, the mechanics, all the things that make talking head video possible for the entrepreneur, for the website owner, for the person who's trying to brand themselves and market themselves online, 20 years ago didn't exist. The internet didn't exist 20 years ago. The ability to broadcast television over the internet didn't exist because there was no internet. The cameras were out of the price. There was no need for an individual to learn to talk to a camera.
Because you had no way to distribute it.
Yeah, there was no distribution, and there was no return on your investment of time, energy, and money. But today there is. So what are the roadblocks? Well, the roadblocks are, people are not comfortable. I was doing an experiment with a friend of mine, and I asked him a question, and he was just like spitting out killer information, and I held up a little, Kodak ZI-8 in front of his face, and he froze. And I said, what's the problem? What's the difference? The camera intimidates me. Why? Why are you scared of the camera? I'm not comfortable with it. Okay, you're full of this information. You know this. You're an expert in a particular expertise. But a little piece of plastic holding it up like this, and then you freeze. Well, that's what you got to overcome. Believe me.
Did he have no clothes on? Did he not have any clothes on? Was that the problem?
It's just that for some reason, when microphones and cameras get in front of people, they become intimidated. And what we're trying to say, we look like we look. We're not professional actors, but we're passionate about our information. We try to stay knowledgeable of our information, and this is a modality to share it with the world. So Talking Head Video does two major important things for everybody, and everybody can do 2-minute tips. Is you get to know us by seeing us, hear us talk, and on top of that, the more you do it, the better you get at it, because there's just too many opportunities to ignore any longer. Jim?
Absolutely, and I would agree with that, and thinking in 2-minute chunks. But I think the other thing that holds people back, a little of it might be a little bit of stage fright, but the other, I think, is just not knowing what to say. And so when you know how to structure a video, when you know what to say in what order, and then you can just kind of practice this. Like one of the things, Mike, whenever you do a close, what's the last thing you say?
Do it today.
Do it today. And then at the beginning of the video, what do we always say? Hey, this is Jim Edwards. Hey, this is Mike Stewart.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, I mean, it's
Come to my store. You've come to my business. You've come to my house. Welcome here. Let me tell you how I can help you. Because if you think about how your information, your products, your services will help people, instead of going, I'm here to sell you something, you're going to build friends and make connections and relationships a lot faster.
absolutely. And there are a lot of patterns that we don't have time to get into right here, but there are patterns you can follow where literally you can create the kind of video that you need to create in little chunks, or 2-minute chunks, 30-second chunks, whatever it is, and then you could even piece them together and make it. So it's not hard once you know what to do. So Mike and I are, next week, we're going to be doing the video traffic webinar. How to use video to get more traffic both from your video and to your video. We're going to be doing a complete 90-minute webinar, plus or minus 5 or 10 minutes, on exactly things that you can do right now as a non-techie person on how to use your video to get more traffic. And there's 2 ways to use video to drive viewers, okay, and to drive traffic. Number 1 is things that you do with your video to drive people to action or to drive them to your website. So things you do, let's say if you have a video on YouTube, there are things you can do to drive people to your website to sign up or buy. Conversely, there are things you can do to drive traffic to your video. And this webinar is going to be absolutely free for people who are Talking Head video customers already. And down here are links to go check out Talking Head Video Profits. If you are already a Talking Head Video Profits customer, you are going to get this webinar absolutely free as part of the course. We're adding it to the course. If you're not, you need to go become a customer so that you can get on this webinar. That's how you can get on the webinar.